Welcome back everyone, my name is Ludicrous. This is some more Hearts of Iron 4 playing as the United States of America. And we're gonna stay democratic. But it is time to unpause. And for this first part, we're probably gonna be playing at a very reasonable... I'm gonna be playing at speed 4 for the first few days. So all of our movements can be done with the aircraft and the ships that we've queued up, especially the ships in the Pacific and the aircrafts over here. So now we have, see, these guys are still coming in. It takes them until now to get here. From Hawaii, it takes them over a week to fly all the way over to Washington, Maryland. Oh, excuse me. So until we're ready, I'm just, then I'm gonna merge them once they're all here. And actually the fun thing is that saves manpower, because we start off with really low manpower despite having a population that is 125 million people that we can potentially recruit. We only start with 100,000, but yeah, the United States until after the Second World War has mostly had a volunteer army and a very small standing army ever. They've had bigger armies, of course, in the meantime, with the Civil War and with the First World War, but for the most part it has always been a volunteer army and very small. But after the Second World War, this changed completely, and they have now probably the biggest standing army in the world when it comes to strength. Not 100% sure on manpower, but maybe they still do. I mean, the Chinese army is huge. The North Korean one is actually the fourth biggest when it comes to manpower, but almost everyone is in the frickin' North Korean army anyway. And I just got banned from r/Pyongyang. Just saying. See, we already get more from trading. We're already up, but it also, getting the more factories from trade also costs me more consumer goods. Every 10 factories we get, only 3 will be available to us because of our consumer goods requirements. Which means that of these 12, we're actually only going to see 4, maybe 5 in total. Then again, there might be some more trade in the pipeline as well. I'm gonna go to speed 5, and on speed 5 you don't get the night-day cycle passing by, so it looks a little bit cleaner, like you could say. But that's fine. So, yeah, first when the WPA finishes, we're gonna get Robert Taft, so we actually get a trickling amount of political power in. It is really slow. It's only 0.3 a day, so it takes about a really bloody long time. It takes, wow, 500 days to actually get another 150. That's really nothing. But it's something. That's the most important part, I guess. Then again, we could pick someone else. If you were going, say, fascist or communist, you would have to pick one of these two guys. It's basically the only way. We'd also look into getting... he's expensive as hell. I would like to get Omar Bradley at one point, but 250... it's a ridiculous amount. I still think, even though it's not a lot, that Robert Taft is going to be our best choice. Oh, we still need another day. If you pause, it actually switches back. And the Rhineland is getting militarized. Crap. Some of the pop-ups, when you click them away, they instantly unpause, which can be really annoying. Anyway, as I said, the Committee on Technocracy is next. And I'm gonna get Mr. Taft. So we get a little tiny bit of political power coming in every day. 3 every 10 days, so 30 every 100 days, so 150 every 500 days. It's a long wait for sure. Yeah, the cost as well. Oh, the conversion cost is really high, but the construction speed is... The cost of the factories building them anew is the same, it's just that there's a minus 50% speed to it. So if we go to the research, we see that we have electronic engineering unlocked. Now we could go for mechanical computing, it's currently 220 days. I'd rather get radio right now. Radio is very important to have. The reinforce rate is the chance that your divisions have to reinforce a battle in progress, and radio is just really important for that. And it's not the very expensive tech, so it's good to get anyway. I like radio music in the background, by the way. This reminds me so much of MASH, and MASH is just my favorite television series of all time. I really, really love MASH. Takes place over here in Korea. Not sure if it's... I think it's... Yeah, it's South Korea. But they do swap between... They sometimes go to North Korea. But it's during the Korean War. So basically when North Korea was first really its own country. It's kind of sad really to think about that. Korea is currently split between South and North, while for the longest period of time until Japan fully took it over, it was like a one nation. It was quite sizable as well at some point. But yeah, Japan and China have always been a little bit dickish towards their territory. So overall, there's been some changing of hands of it as well. Now I'm gonna wait with starting the next tech until I actually finish the Committee in Technocracy. We're gonna complete basic machine tools. Even though I should probably get concentrated industry right now. Yeah, I think no, I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna start that other research a little bit later. The one from Technocracy that unlocks. The Committee on Technocracy is done. Perfect. So now we're over here. So now we have support Rock Island, and then we can do anything else over here on the left side. And we're gonna do that right now. So now, if we were to switch research to engineering, it's no longer 200 something days. It's 95 days. See how crazy that is? The base cost of 250 and we get so many bonuses on it. So it's halved and well, it's more than 60% off. Which is really fast. Currently not training anyone, but that's mostly because we have such a lack in the amount of infantry equipment we need. But what I am going to get ready is carrier CAS and carrier naval bomber tech. Now here you can see we're now working on the Yorktown. So currently finishing one Yorktown in 1.38 days. Years, I mean, but we only have 7 of our dockyards working yet. So if we swap you down... We do like chromium now, but now it's done in 10 months. Well, 11. How are we doing instructions? We already finished our first few. So we have 1 to spare. In the long run, they're still going to be useful, so... I'm just building them. I mean, military factories will have instant use, but the more civilian factories you have, the better the backbone is, and the more you can just build. Build, build, build. And of course it gives you a... It's more expensive, of course, to then convert them as well. But it gives you such an amount of good stuff. If you look at the cost of it, it's like 200, I think. Or 2,000, I should say. But the cost has increased because of our things everywhere. Okay, so we finished motorized, which is good. So here we go. 95 days in mechanical computing. But we have another one finished. We finished construction 1, which does speed up our building stuff a little bit, which is nice right now. And I would like to research Marines level 1. because I'm going to be training quite a few Marines. I'm going to need to train quite a few Marines if we want to do all these Japanese islands. And not sure if you want to do the tactic that was used in real life, but still, it might be an interesting way to go about it. See if we can still... Oh, so... As I said, I'm tired, I'm recording late, so I said it previous episode, but there will be some yawning. It will be interesting if we can do it faster than the actual US Army did in real life, but also there's of course the fact that all of this, well almost all of this, was already taken by the Japanese before we were able to join the war. It's going to be difficult regardless. So upgrades and reinforcements are currently working on. We still need 16,000 infantry equipment, 290-ish support equipment, 240, well 38, 37 now artillery units. And we're now supporting Rock Islands, which gives us bonus research for support artillery and other things. So now we're going to have to look at this area because this is all not available. And the multiplayer, because... multiplayer I played because France decided to just not give the Germans back the Rhineland. I was able to start war propaganda after the committee, so I never even got to support Rock Island in that one, or haven't just yet. Anyway, so there is the Air Wars plan, which gives you a lot of air doctrine research bonus. This one gives you production cheapness for ships. But then there's of course the Monroe Doctrine, which gives you an increased trade opinion of nations in Americas. I am going to affirm the doctrine because I want the political power. At least I want one at the minimum of all the political powers. So here's our current, well, what I can do easily is split you up in two. This will be the second submarine squadron. And they'll be all fighting over here. They have a really long range, which is nice. Radio's finished. So we could go into radio detection, which is only a 57-day research, because we got the research bonuses from... I'll actually check it. You can see it here. We've got the Committee and Technocracy still twice available. Of course, here you see, wow, 50% off on anti-tank, interwar artillery, anti-air. I do want anti-tank, so I'm going to take that. It's only 57 days. That's the beauty of those research bonuses from the national focus trees. Oh, those were the... those were the Olympics in Berlin. Total manpower 631k. So we still have an army of 345,000 men. Which I think at most, it was actually more like 100,000. Or that was the start of World War One. That could be, that's possible. And I'm mixing those two numbers right now in my head. Construction is still going on. It just takes longer because of our construction speed. Then again, we now have construction 1, so it is actually sped up a little bit. We're now trading 9 different factories, or we're getting 9 bonus factories from trade. Quite nice. So what do we do with the next 150 power we get? We get 250, we could go with superior firepower. That is actually also a good option. I like the idea of getting Standard Oil of California for that industrial research time reduction. But I think actually I'm going to go with Marmon Harrington for the armor research time as well as its maximum speed and reliability. Even though Chrysler gives you reliability and soft attack, while Army Ordnance Department gives you armor and hard attack. Not a heart attack, hard attack. But I like to have my tanks more reliable and faster. All the chiefs of the army are not necessary until we actually get to a point where we are fighting. So those will not be interesting right now. And it's actually not night when we pause it. Even though it says 10 in the morning, that's GMT. The game is using GMT as its focus time. Now, researching computing machine right now is actually only 243 days, which is ridiculously fast. But I'm still going to wait for that. We already had 1 or 2 now used. I think only 1, right? Yeah, only 1 is used. So I'm going to look at getting... Actually, I think it's already time to start with our first doctrine research. Because they take longer, it's better to start off early. Well, there's a civil war brewing in Spain, as it always does in the early game of Hearts of Iron 4 and 3. Question is, who will win this time? Oh, we've already reaffirmed the Monroe Doctrine. So our trade opinion increases, which means that they're maybe more likely to trade with us. Let's see. I'd like to start off with Central America. South America gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nations actually with... Yeah, no, I'm going to do South America then. More nations to start spreading democracy to. Which is cool. Ah, anti-tank is already researched. 57 days. Very, very fast. 53 days here now. Oh, right, we took the research bonus. But it is... This research will be done after we get our tank designer, and it still applies to that, even though the speed is not optimal, and that the 10% will only come in halfway once we finish South America as our national focus, but it's still going to be fine. Wow, in one episode we're going to do a full year. We're still not training anything. First units I want to train are Marines. And we're still working on 13,000 plus. Currently 33 carrier fighters available, which is also quite decent. Wave 21 are being used for convoys, which is fine. Ooh. I like that we're getting concentrated industry soon, which will increase our outputs. As this one. We're already getting 15% bonus from having free trade. And that will be the downside of going to export focus. We will have less output. Then again, it's still pretty good. So first off, we're going to need 1 factory in each of these. How are we doing here? We finished another group of 2, so now we are building the next one with 2 of them. Hooray! There we go, concentrated industry. It's now November. It's 0.15 years ahead of time now to start on the next one. I think it's fine to start with machine tools then. Get it done a little bit earlier. I mean, it would cost like 120 days at most. Ooh, election of 1936. The day of the presidential election has arrived. Incumbent Franklin Delano Roosevelt has already implemented several of the programs referred collectively to as the New Deal, intended to take the US out of the Great Depression. While many of the efforts have been popular, his plans to further extend the role and power of the government have been met with criticism from his opponent, Republican Alf Landon. Coming from the oil industry, Landon wants to see greater economic freedom, while Roosevelt and the Democratic Party want to expand Social Security and ensure economic stability. Election may be a close call or major victory for the Democrats. So we could either switch to the Republicans, which gives us the Standard Oil of California for free. Alf Landon becomes leader, which gives us ideology, drift, defense, 50%. Or we keep Roosevelt, which gives us infrastructure, construction speed goes up by 20%, and national unity up by 10%. Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna keep Democrats. Because Roosevelt was not a bad president at all. So, I'm gonna keep him. And yeah, the New Deal is sort of... Yeah, the New Deal was really good. So... And it's already November. How long left in South America? 27 days now. Already, we're getting more... No. Hang on, we're now... 330-ish days. Yeah, no, it is actually just 500 days for one of them to come along. It takes a long time. So we're going to be supporting democracy all around the Americas, which is quite cool. But we're not going to get through a full year, because this is the end of the episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to keep up to date in the future. I'll see you guys later.